Most welcome to Historiespanarna, History Reconnaissance, and Subarctic Escape, the Dunkerque of Japan, Kiska, 1943. This is the story of a surprise attack, fierce battles and a daring retreat. So stay with us, and please subscribe to our channel and join us on our journey in history. In June 1942, Japan attacked the US Aleutian Islands, bombing Dutch harbor and invading and occupying the islands of Kiska and Attu. The summer of 1942 continued with occasional air raids by either side, and the resupply by sea of the Japanese forces, despite heavy disruption by US bombers and submarines. On June 3, 1942, a striking force composed of Nakajima torpedo bombers took off from the carriers Jinjo and Jijo. 17 Japanese planes found the naval base, the first arriving at 05:45. As the Japanese pilots looked for targets to engage, they came under intense anti-aircraft fire and soon found themselves confronted by 11th Air Force fighters sent from Fort Glenn. The Japanese quickly released their bombs and left to return to the carriers. As a result, they did little damage to the base. On June 4th, the Japanese returned to Dutch harbor. This time, the Japanese pilots were better organized and prepared. When the attack ended that afternoon, Dutch harbor oil storage tanks were burning, the hospital was partly demolished, and a beached barracks ship was damaged. Although American pilots eventually located the Japanese carriers, attempts to sink the ships failed because bad weather set in that caused the US pilots to lose all contact with the Japanese fleet. However, the weather caused the Japanese to cancel plans to invade Adak with 1,200 men. The US Navy and Army Air Forces quickly deployed to bases in Alaska, particularly at Dutch Harbor, Adak and Omnak. The Aleutian Islands campaign became a largely air and naval conflict due to the challenging terrain. The military built and expanded airfields on several islands, including Adak in August 1942, which became a key forward operating base for launching airstrikes against Japanese-held islands. Thousands of US soldiers, including elements of the 7th Infantry Division, were sent to Alaska to prepare for an eventual counteroffensive.
Intelligence Center. A photographic ship accompanies missions to Kiska. It's tasked to follow the bombers over their target, recording the immediate results of the bombardment, also enemy defense activities, new installations, camouflage. These photographs are studied by specialist interpreters and submitted with comments to the General and his staff officers, Colonel William Prince and Colonel C.M. McCorkle. Here is Kiska, her camp area, with its steel huts, her hangars, her underground railway, her gun installations. Kiska, one of the hottest spots on the earth, or above.
The main objectives in any mission from Adak are the destruction of enemy shipping en route to Kiska, destruction of installations on the island, harassing of enemy personnel.
In May 1943, US forces landed on Attu in Operation Landcrab, and after 20 days of fierce fighting, finally destroyed the Japanese garrison there. The Japanese High Command then recognized that Kiska was indefensible. On July 28, 1943, the Imperial Japanese Navy initiated a withdrawal. On July 29th, Rear Admiral Kimura Masatomi, commanding 2 light cruisers and 10 destroyers, slipped through the American blockade under cover of fog and rescued 5,193 men. The operation was run by the light cruisers Abukuma and Kiso, taking on around 2,400 men, and 6 destroyers with between 400 and 500 men each. 4 other destroyers gave cover to the operation.
Canadians join American forces in the campaign to drive the Japanese out of Kiska, last enemy base in the Western Hemisphere. Canadian and American generals with Admiral Kinkaid, Allied commander, supervised the embarkation somewhere in the Aleutians. In the gray Arctic light, the combined Allied fleet steams for its objective. Troops don war paint, camouflage, for what they expected to be the bloodiest of battles against a foe fighting to the death. The strategic importance of Kiska: 2,850 miles by air from Seattle, 1,100 miles to the great Jap base at Paramushiro, Kiska to Tokyo, 2,000 miles. Landing forces roll ashore armed to the teeth. For 14 months, the enemy has occupied the island as a base. Now, Allied forces move in to reclaim the American soil of Kiska. And the landing is unopposed. The Japs, who never retreat, have fled. Bombed repeatedly from the air, the Japs were forced to live underground. Kiska, again in American hands, is a new stepping stone to Tokyo.
That's all, folks. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.